All right, guys. So we're going to dive into a topic today that really, this is what we're going to talk about today is all that matters. And it's one of the biggest questions. All right? Spark this up real quick. Young money. All right, so there we go. The incense has been set. The gods are watching. Here we go. So, you guys all ask me this. A lot of you guys are young. This is something that all men deal with. Women too, in their own way. But as a woman, you know, you're going to have, your body's capable of having a child. Mine is not. So you having that ability, that's a biological destiny in a way. All right? You're going to eventually probably want that. Most women. All right? And if you don't, well, that's for you to deal with. I'll never have to deal with that. But to be able to raise a family, and to raise a family, that's your goal. That's your mission. You're not going to be all over the place working 40, 50 hours, coming home, raising the kid, raising, a family. I mean, sure, it's doable, and many women do it. There's daycares and babysitters and whatnot. But the main point of this is that as a man, we're under this obligation. I'm not trying to, this isn't for the female audience. This isn't to take sympathy, but we're under the obligation to do something with our life. All right? Every guy knows this. Every guy feels this. His family is constantly looking at him and his successes, his friends, the community, people that what are you worth? And you got to be worth your weight in salt. You got to be able to hold your own. So, it's a scary subject, and it's a scary thing to think about because it's a lot of unknown stuff. There's no really concrete answers. A lot of you guys are told to go to college. A lot of you guys are being forced to go to college, probably for good reason, because your parents give a shit about you and they want you to succeed in life. They've learned that college provides you with some knowledge, a set of skills you work on, and then you're going to get a job there. That's it, guys. Work is good. Getting a job is good. It gives you enough money. You can live a good life. All right. That if you're in the U.S. and you make, I think it's over $34,000, you're in the top 1%. Serious of the world. All right. The world's population. There's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of poor people making 35 grand, whatever. You can live fine. All right? I've lived on less. I've lived on much less. Now, let me tell you this. If we look at successful people, there's traits. And so these traits give us a hint. What are some stuff that these guys have in common? There's a book called The Education of Millionaires, and it's by a guy named Michael Ellsberg. And Michael Ellsberg studied this large group of millionaires, really successful. There were some billionaires in here. And one trait that almost all of them had in common, the most popular, was that they had some background in sales. All right? They had some history of selling stuff. That's a huge hint. All right? The reason I'm telling you this is that sales is one of the most important things for economy. It makes the world go around. The distribution of goods, if you don't have people selling stuff, nothing gets moved. All right? There's no cash flow. You have to have people, a product, selling the product, receiving money for that. All right? It can be difficult to do. It takes sometimes a certain personality. A lot of people say that, car salesmen are scummy, and salesmen are scummy because there's this personalities of being pushy, being over the top sometimes, not taking a no for an answer, trying to be, it's almost slimy, there's no trust. They don't really care about you. But sales has changed a lot. It really has. In 2018, people have computers, and there's so many different types of sales. It's also difficult because usually sales is a commission-based thing. If you don't sell, you're not getting paid. Usually companies will start you out with a draw. It's like a net, a safety net, that you're going to make this much, which is usually dirt. All right. It's usually like it's less than $2,000 after taxes. And you're going to make that. And if you don't sell, that's what you're making. But then that goes away after a couple months. So be prepared. But if you have the ability to step into this realm and to be hungry enough, it is something that can really provide you not only with some money in your pocket, but also with a certain set of skills that translate into other areas of life. When I got into sales, one thing that I quickly realized is selling is a lot like game. Let's just call it game. I know I made a video, you don't need game. It's a lot like game. It's a lot like talking to a woman and maybe getting in a relationship and having a relationship and keeping it going. Sales is the same thing. First off, you have to overcome rejections. All right. Second, you have to hold your ground and show confidence. You have to hold the frame. All right. You have to learn how to say no. You also have to learn to sell yourself. All right. We're always selling ourselves. You have to get uncomfortable. And so with that being said, and you see this in how a girl will normally, we know these things as shit tests. And the shit tests are the same things. It's an objection. It's how is this guy confident? If he says his opinion, is he going to stand by his opinion? Or is what I say that counters him, is he going to break? Is he going to crumble just because maybe I wasn't happy with it? All right, so the second thing is, what about what are shit tests for? To see how many options a man has. Right? Is this girl your only option? Are you bending over backwards for her? Is she your only option? Do other girls want to fuck you? Right? Do other people want your product? Is your product good, or are you having a really bad month? Are you being needy? So you're using all these sales tactics and you're being scummy. Right? So you got to learn to be personable. You got to learn to fucking hold your ground. When you start negotiating, it gets a little intense. You get shortness of breath. But you stay in there and you're rewarded. Not many people have the balls for doing this kind of stuff. They can't stomach it. So you got to grab your nuts if you're likely to get into sales. And to be honest, these things are fucking scary, man. Seriously. It's got to be scary because what? There's no opportunity in comfort. These things are stomach churning, but they're necessary. Look, I was very intimidated being put in a sales room with 5 fucking people, and they all knew about my NoFap videos on YouTube, and they wanted me to give a meeting. I think, I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm out of here. All right. It was very intimidating to stand around a car that I'm just now learning and try to point out and try to like role play selling to other people. Very scary. All right. But I did it. I got over it. And you get better. Right. It's very scary to close a deal for the first time. And so, look, it's not that I was never scared, man. It's just the courage to step up to those things. So, we talked about how it translates to women, but these days you can sell anything. Sales isn't just done door to door anymore. It's not just done in a showroom. All right, sales is done online. Sales is done through video. Sales is done through copy, learning how to write. Some of you guys are great writers. Sales is done in many different ways. Going and meeting people, sure, that will always be a foundation. But look, guys, if you're not sure what to do and maybe you got some time on your hands, think about what are you interested in? What interests you, and how can you share that with other people? So maybe you're really into just like some goofy Star Wars monopoly, let's say. Well, you could start like a little club on Facebook. You know, we have all these resources, and it's just learning. This is the wizard part of you that has to sort of you got to become a little wizard-like. All right? And you got to start thinking, well, how can I use this to serve me? Because many of us are just we're serving that. Like, make it your bitch, dude. Make social media your bitch. And see the outcome. So maybe you get a little, and then you can sell them, you sell them Star Wars stuff, figurines. I don't know, but, so I've met some wizards, man. I've met some wizards. So, online sales, affiliate marketing, selling, being the middle dude, being the middle marketer, man, for other companies. Like Amazon has an affiliate program. One thing you could do, just get 1,000 people. I mean, look at this channel, dude. 1,000 people. Imagine if 1,000 people paid me $50 a year. 50 grand. All right, 1,000 true fans. Are you telling me this channel doesn't have 1,000 people? 1,000 people that have benefited, that have come here. They've seen hours. We've talked. We've sent emails back and forth. We on Messenger, one on Instagram. That's all possible, and yet it took me a couple years. It's still the same thing, man. It's selling, all right? It's having the nuts, and I'm telling you guys, if we look at successful people and that's one of the traits, maybe we should emulate them. And so if you're stuck, I had this conversation with a guy named Charles the other day on email. He was like, bro, I'm like lost. I don't know what to do. I told him the same thing, and he's like, I'm gonna try to get into sales, all right? Start looking. Wherever there's other people, you get in the face of other people and they want something from you, you're going to make money. It's that easy. And money's not the end goal, obviously. I'm just saying that you no longer have to just go to school to become a doctor, or these are specialized things. You want to work in IT. But then if you got your hands in IT, well, you could also probably learn, you got web design, right? You know how to code? It's like, dude, there's just wizards, okay? So school, you got to be careful because this is a span of 4 years where you're going and no one's really telling you to try anything else except for what you're going to school for. And God knows you're taking a bunch of bullshit classes in between. I talked to my sister, these social fucking studies about learning the gender pronouns. Guys, we've heard about this, some dumb classes that are not helping anyone's future. College is a fucking business. You got to remember that. It's a business. And so this is just a thing to look out for. Selling takes personality. If you think you're an introvert, if you think you're quiet, that's just, a way that you get your dopamine, all right? I'm a fucking introvert, man. Like, look, I stay at home. I like to read, all right? That's pleasurable to me. But I also know that connecting with other people, getting in the face of other people, and having that, it brings you to life. It puts you in flow. So I think that we all have that in us to be more personable, to be able to influence, to make connections with other people. And I think that that's super important in life, all right? Instead of being a bystander and never getting your hands a little dirty. That's important. You got, getting some real life skin in the game. All right, so that's what I wanted to say. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Any questions, anything I could clear up, because I know we moved around a lot. That's all right. I'll see you in the comments. Let's get it.